Cool.
Thank you very much.
Also going to do that.
Lovely job, still being recorded.
Cool. All right. Doubly recorded. Here we go.
Kindasound, tuning in for change.
And you're live.
And welcome to Kindasound this morning. And it's a lovely frosty UK day. I'm hoping actually that this stays in until Christmas Day. It would be nice to wake up once and actually see some white stuff on the floor. And this morning on the Reality Bite Show, I have a double round guest coming back for me on the off chance last night, actually, because I had someone pull out due to them being really ill. So I just want to say, Jamie, thank you, number one, for just jumping in at the last minute, and welcome back again.
I know, I'm getting to people are either going to be kind of pleased to see me or kind of like just bored of me by now. It's one or the other. So let's hope it's the former, right?
I think
I'm just pleased I could help out. Please, I can help out. You know?
Yeah, it's so wonderful you jumped in last night. It's always it's always a pleasure to talk to you. And we want to bring some uplifting stuff to you guys. We're coming up to Christmas, you know. Everybody's struggling a little bit. So we hope that whatever we talk about today is going to give you guys a little bit of sort of hope, love, I don't know, something for the future to hang on to. But I'm going to let Jamie start this morning rather than me. So Jamie, over to you.
Oh, wow. Listen, the pressure's on. The pressure's on.
You said you got a good subject matter for me today.
Yeah. I think, you know, listen, this time of year, do you know what I mean? Like, you're hearing songs left, right, and centre, and one of them says that it is the most wonderful time of the year. And in so many ways, it is. But also, it has the absolute, like a flip side of that, where people are struggling beyond belief, right? And there are people who are really, really feeling it, who always do it this year. But I think, especially this year, this is the extra pressure. Like, this is the extra test, the extra challenge, like what so many people are under. So, I mean, what I would like to do is like maybe reassure some people. I would like to take a little bit of pressure off of people, because, you know, what we do as human beings is we will be the best like advice givers, and we will be like full of wisdom and full of nuggets of gold that to other people, right? But we have to be that to ourselves, right? And this is what people have to do this year, is to be this to their self, is to be the best advice giver, to give those nuggets of gold, all that wisdom to themselves. And I need them to be kind to themselves, because there's all these slogans, all these campaigns that go, listen, be kind, hashtag be kind. Listen, I need you to be kind to yourself, because what you have to understand is you have to know the opponent in which you're up against at this particular time, right? So you may not be where you want to be. You may not be doing what you want to do. You may feel like you're failing in some way. You may feel like that you're not good enough, especially because of the killer that is comparison. Now, it's a case of comparing yourself to other people in a massive way. Of course, social media is the biggest one. Social media is the biggest one, right? So people will look at what other people are doing. People will be looking at other families in matching pajamas, left, right, and center. They'll be looking at the decorations that they've got, the standard of decoration. They'll be looking at what they're buying, right? I will never, ever put up a flex on social media about what I've got my babies. Now, I've had to do whatever it takes this year right now. I want to let people know that I'm kind of in it with them in so many ways, in so many different ways, shapes and forms. And it's like this year, even over the last couple of weeks, like I will give you an example, like over a 96-hour period, I was literally asleep for 6 of them hours. I was working for 90 hours where I was doing kind of like speaking engagements during the day. I was then going to do a night shift in a residential care home for vulnerable teenagers from like 9 until 7 in the morning, driving from there, going to a builder's merchants in the morning, picking up materials, going to get materials to do a plastering job, working there until 7, half 7, maybe getting a power hour, then going to do a night shift, then going to do more talks. And I was doing that over a 4-day period, right? So I was doing like whatever it took to make sure that this was the best time of year for the babies, right? So I've had to do this as well, right? And people are struggling. So I will never put up that flex post about what people are doing at the moment. I did put up a post around about a week and a half ago, because I always buy like a little amount of toys for a campaign up my way called Cash for Kids, right? So it's a case of, you know, you buying toys, you take it into the local radio station, and then they give the toys out to kids who have nothing this year, right? So what it was, I was doing a little painting job for a little old couple, when they had like this radio station on called the Greatest Hits Radio, and they were talking about this old woman that came in. Okay, right, this old woman came in, and she bought in some board games, and she said they're from Harvey. Right. So, and they said, oh, thank you ever so much. Thank you very much. And they said, oh, so who is Harvey? And she said, oh, Harvey's my grandson. And she said, oh, right. Oh, lovely. Well, thank Harvey for us. And I said, and she said, because, you know, this DJ came on, and he said, like, oh, I've got to make this announcement. I've got to tell you. And he started to get all emotional. And he said that the little old lady said, no, we can't thank Harvey because he's not here anymore. She said, very, very recently, he got a bleed on the brain out of nowhere. And from that diagnosis to death, it was very, very quick. But what Harvey used to do, like what he used to love to do, was he used to love to go around shops with his nan, be it normal shops, be it charity shops, and buy stuff. And he used to say, it's not for me, it's not for me, it's for other kids who haven't got as much as me. This was a little 9-year-old boy. So there I was painting a ceiling, and I'm in bits, like I'm in tears, and like the little old lady and like little old man come and said, oh, what's happened? Then I told them about Harvey, right? So it was like they gave me a little bit of a tip for the job. So I said, look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this money, like this is in Harvey's name, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to like buy some more, buy double the amount, and that other amount is going to be for Harvey. And that's a post that I put up about that, and it then led other people to do the same. It wasn't a flex about what I've got, it's about what I managed to get through wonderful circumstances in order for a massive, like a really, really positive cause, a positive campaign. And it was like I was talking about how me and my little girls were going up and down the toy shop saying, oh, look, we'll get this for Harvey. We'll get this for Harvey. So like we were remembering Harvey, even though we didn't know the boy, but we were kind of keeping his memory alive just by speaking his name. And from that, the little girl who was Harvey's best friend, who was Harvey's girlfriend, as it were, her big sister got in contact with us and said, oh man, like this is amazing. Like what I've done is I've forwarded this on to Harvey's mum. And it was like, oh, right, okay. So then Harvey's mum got in contact with me, and she was just saying, thank you so much for keeping my boy's memory alive. Like, I don't even know you, but it's just amazing that he can even do this to strangers. And it's like, you know, it was a wonderful thing. So I put up that post to just say to people, look, if you can, whether it's like going into shops like B&M or Pound Stretch or something, whether the toys are cheaper, just please, if you can. And it then led on to people doing the same. But I would never put up like what I've bought my kids or what my decorations look like, because I know that can really, really hurt people. I know that people are comparing themselves at this particular time.
Yeah, so Jamie, that for me, you know, we're going to go, I'd like to go all over the place with this conversation you've opened up actually. But one thing that brings me is to where I'd like to lead this to as a closing later, which is the spirit of Christmas. It's all about love and giving and family, and, you know, it's all that's coming from the heart space, you know, out of that genuine place of not how much stuff can I give you so you feel worthy because you've got loads of stuff. And I think that's where, as society, really, we've sort of fallen apart a little bit, because like you say, with the social media, with the look what I've got, look what I've got, look what I've got, and the, you know, how many presents can you buy your kids at Christmas? People are skinting themselves, they're putting themselves in debt just so they don't feel like they have some form of lack, whereas no amount of stuff is ever going to make you happy. It doesn't matter how much stuff you buy, how much stuff you throw at your kids. All you're teaching your kids is, I'm going to give you more and more stuff, and that's your happiness, where it's not. That happiness. I know my sister said to me once, she went, she did a day, she didn't have Christmas dinner with us. She went and did a day feeding, like picking up old elderly people who were on their own, taking them to wherever they were having Christmas dinner and spending the day with them while they were doing that, and then taking them home in the evening. and she said it was one of the best days she's had.
Incredible. Yeah.
Just being able to talk to these people, put joy into these people, share a bit of love and happiness with these people that are on their own, not buy stuff. How much stuff have you got?
And in return, those people would have put joy and happiness into her heart, because basically what you're doing is you're reconnecting with like the essence of who you are and the essence of what you're all about, which is being with people, helping people. And it's all about Christmas presents at the moment, but it's more about being physically present, if you know what I mean. That's the presence that really, really, truly, truly means something. And this is what I want, just very quickly, is to say that, like, this is what takes the pressure off of you, right? This is what maybe reassures you, is I want you to understand the opponent in which you are facing, right? Because at any given moment, yeah, this year can be tough for so many people, but you've got to understand the caliber, right? Now, let's say, for instance, right, if you was a boxer and you was in an amateur boxing club and you literally went in and you done 12 rounds of like fighting and the performance was really good, right? What you got to understand now is life has just taken you as an amateur boxer and literally put you in the ring with Tyson Fury at the moment, right? And what you got to understand is you're still going toe to toe with this opponent. You're still functioning. You're still carrying on. You're still on your feet. So you've got to understand the quality of your performance. 12 rounds against someone that's in your amateur boxing club is one thing. 12 rounds and you're still there. You're still fighting with Tyson Fury. That's another thing. You've got to understand that it's Tyson Fury you're up against. And what is the Tyson Fury? The Tyson Fury is the fuel cost. The Tyson Fury is the petrol cost. The Tyson Fury is the cost of living. The Tyson Fury is inflation. The Tyson Fury, that's what Tyson Fury is at the moment. That there is an opponent that you most probably have never had to face at this particular time. So you've got to understand, if you are literally doing the basics, right? If you're literally giving food to your kids, if they got clothes on their back, if they got food in their stomach, if they've got a roof over their head, if you've literally managed to get them some kind of like number of presents in some shape, way, or form for this time of year, man, your performance is incredible. Like that's why you've got to be kind to yourself. That's why you've got to give yourself some credit. That's why you have to give yourself a pat on the back, because you're not fighting no amateur boxer at the moment. You are fighting Tyson Fury. Everything that's being thrown on you in life in general, from the government, for whatever, for life, it's massive. This is a massive opponent, and yet you are still there fighting. You're still on your feet fighting. So please, please, please give yourself some credit.
Yeah, I love that, actually. Well, I'm going to use that analogy when we come back after our first song, because that's just kicked something off in my head that's very relevant. It's a new way of looking at things, actually. So, Jamie, first song this morning, Dermot Kenny, Better Days. Why do you like this?
Absolutely. So this is a whole like kind of song about holding on. This is a song of hope. Hope, hold on, pain ends. It's literally a case. Listen, better days are coming. Better days are coming. Just hold on. Just endure these rounds. You may be getting smashed to pieces by Tyson Fury, but you're still there. Endure it and get to the end of the fight.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, my mother always says. Morning, Mum and Dad, by the way. Morning, Bobby. Morning, Mark. Morning, Dave. Morning, everybody who's tuning in. Got that one. Right, so if you wouldn't mind, Django, a bit of Better Days this morning, please.
Cool. You're off air.
Lovely job. I like that adage as Tyson Fury. The reason being, when you're talking about doing rounds of it, it's a good old adage to start people off thinking about how they can take back control. So if you think about it like one-on-one in a boxing ring with Tyson Fury, you're probably going to slug it out for a long period of time. But that's the whole point, isn't it? That you stick two people in that ring, you kick the absolute living daylights out of him.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Think about that like our illegal legislation system, what the government's doing, what the stuff happening with the kids, and and all the finances and all these companies making billions and billions and billions in profit while people are struggling. All it takes is for everybody to get in the boxing ring and go, no, you're going to get it now.
And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. But so many people just like, when I'd like £1 for each time I've heard, well, what can I do? What can I do? I can't do anything about it. Yeah, most probably you can't do anything about it yourself, but yourself teamed with loads of other people that are willing to do something about it is what makes the change.
Massive weight. I've had this conversation so many times with people. I'm going to end up probably in, I've just agreed to go to magistrates court in, I don't know if it'll be January, February, March, but I'm doing all the stuff with the electricity, aren't I? So I've been going through it with a legislative process from day one. I've, under equity law, ticked every single box that needs to be ticked, and they haven't. They have not done any of it. They've not replied. They've just, the stuff they've been, anyway. So I've got to the point where it's come to a magistrate's warrant, and they've said if you don't appear, it will basically be, dictated on without your presence. And I thought, no, fuck this shit. I'm going down there because I want to see if actually in a court of law this stands. Are they going to go with the person who is equitable and of clean hands, which is myself, because I've recorded absolutely everything, and full list of proof and evidence, or are they going to just do an illegal process and stand with a corporation I have no contract with? And it's like, let's see. And if everybody, I mean, I know the process I've been through has been, do you know what I mean? It's been a proper eye opener for the last 8 months.
I can imagine, when I can't even begin to think. Like,
yeah, I mean, like a massive eye opener. It really has, and I've kept it all quiet because I'm not like family and that to get bothered by stuff, and But I mean, it really has been. These people don't play by the rules that are in place.
Wow! Surprise!
30 seconds to go.
Yeah, so I want to be in that space with them because I'm going to take it to the High Court if I have to, because it's
amazing.
It's been fascinating, Jamie. But that is the adage: if everybody just takes control of one little bit of self, and we all come together, that's it.
It's game over.
Game over. Let's wait for Django to count. So Django, we can't hear you.
Yeah, shortly.
Oh.
Hold on.
I did say 30 seconds.
Oh, I thought you said
Kindasound Radio, the station for a global community.
And you're live.
And welcome back to Kindasound this morning. I was going to say Kindasound on Kindasound Radio, but it's not. It's Reality Bites on Kindasound Radio. I'm your host, Wendy Smith, and my guest this morning is Jamie Denyer. And we're talking basically getting back into yourself, finding that power within you to be able to face your battles and just carry on. We want to give you some love and light this morning. I mean, this time of year, Jamie, I see people struggling, like you've already said, left, right, and centre. And I just wanted to talk, I suppose, briefly, so people get a sense of how we've got into this space in the first place, where we feel like we need to just buy, to be something. I mean, what is your view on how we've got there? How have you seen this happen?
Well, we're just totally conditioned, totally influenced, totally bombarded with what we need to be doing or what we should be doing to make us happy. This thing will make us happy, that thing will make us happy. And it's taken us further and further and further away from what actually makes us happy, right? So I had a little bit of an example of this literally like a couple of nights ago. And this is the thing, is we as human beings forget, and we have to be reminded, and we're reminded in the most unbelievable ways, in the most like mind-blowing ways, right? So whenever I go and speak in front of people, I have to ask myself, what gives me the right to speak to these people, right? What gives me the right? So one of the things, right, I will only ever speak about something that I've been through myself. I will only ever speak about something that I've got evidence and proofs to show. And this was no different, right? This was no different. That when I'm saying to people, listen, we are in this together, right? I am in this with you, right? I don't want people to think, because of the work in which I do and because of who I am and the amount of resilience that I show, that life's tests and trials don't come to me. The challenges don't come to me, right? They do, unbelievably, right? So it was like, I'm literally in this with you, right? So I'm literally speaking to you from my kitchen, right? The kitchen is an icebox, right? I'd done a live, not last night, but the night before, where I was literally going, and you could see my breath, right? So I'm like, listen, I'm speaking to you from the icebox, right? My house, right? The heating's packed in, so I'm waiting for that to be sorted. I've got no hot running water, right? So what it was is I had a heater upstairs for my eldest little girl. in her bedroom. And do you know what? Down in the lounge is where my youngest, she said, "Oh, Dad, can we camp out down here?" So I said, "Right, absolutely." So while I was out in the kitchen doing something, I could smell this smell. And when I went in, she had like this little blanket and it was covering like the blow heater, right? And all of a sudden I heard pop, and it just overheated, and it was just completely gone, right? Completely gone. So so it couldn't be used. Listen, it could have been a lot worse, right? But she was really upset that she had broke this heater. And I'm like, "Listen, don't worry, my darling, right? Hold on. Listen, we're going to sort this out." So went upstairs, spoke to my eldest, and I said, "Look, come down and camp downstairs with us, right? And we can bring your heater down, okay?" So she, "Yeah, come on in, Dad." So we're all in this room. We've got like this little standalone heater, right? Which is more than sufficient for the room. Listen, it costs loads in electric. I mean, don't get me wrong, but listen, you've got to do whatever you got to do whatever it takes to get something done, right? But in that moment, do you know when my little girl was like upset? I literally held her face and I said to her, "Thank you, my darling, thank you." And she go, "Oh, what, Dad, what?" And I said, "Thank you." Because all of a sudden, listen, my whole world's in this one room. This one, like my whole world, like just whatever, everything that means anything to me is in front of me right now, right? And you are warm in this room. You are looking at a tree. You're looking at an amount of decorations. Like you can see what it is you're getting for Christmas. Like it, and all of a sudden, like the spirit was just in that room. Everything that mattered was in that room. So it was like a double. It was like a double lesson for me. Like first and foremost, like listen, I'm in this together with you. Like I'm in it with you, right? And then the other thing was that everything that meant something to me was in that room, and the key word was presence. Presence, not Christmas presents, but the presence of each other. We were all together in that room. And in no shape, way, or form did them babies think that I was failing them at that time. No way did my babies think that I was letting them down at that time. They said, "Oh, Dad loved it. Oh, we loved camping out. We loved being together." They loved it. They loved it. The rest of the house, ice cold. But that room, listen, full hearts. The hearts were warm, and so was the room. So was the temperature. All well and good. So yeah, it was like a double lesson for me right there. And even I had to, in that moment, kind of be reminded really what's important, really what truly matters. And that's the thing, is we as human beings, we're so kind of preoccupied, we're so occupied we're so kind of engaged with so many other things, and yeah, we're getting pulled away from what truly matters, because we're being influenced. Listen, consumerism is just thrown on top. This is what you need. That's what you need to buy. Look at this price. It's that discount. And people are like, "Yeah, that's what make me happy." And you know, there's that label, retail therapy, as well. Do you know what I mean? Yes, listen, you will buy something, and yes, that thing at that moment will make you feel good. But you know what? That clothes, that item of clothing that you bought will soon end up in the wardrobe, just hanging there, doing nothing, never to be worn again. Do you know what I mean? It's like whatever you buy, you'll become bored with, and you'll always want more, and you'll always want something better. You always want something bigger, and that's us in general. That's our clandestine nature, that we'll buy something, we'll get something, we'll love it, but then all of a sudden we'll become bored of it. We want something else for ourselves, or because we see someone else with the better version, or we'll see someone else with the bigger version. And that's what we do. So
it leads into so many conversations in my head, Jamie, from just, I mean, we want to keep on the family one, but it is community values, family values have just gone out. That's what they're called, family values, isn't it? Value in your family, valuing people in your family, spending time. How many, I know, kids sitting at tables with phones in front of their faces, not communicating or not having dinner around a table anymore. We have, when my mum at the moment has just had a new knee put in, so she's in recovery. So we've not been going around for Sunday dinners. And we all really miss it. We miss seeing our parents, and they've got a cold this weekend, so can't catch up with them. And I actually bloody miss the pair of them. Do you know what I mean? When you don't get to spend the time. We had a catch up, a gathering around my sister's last weekend for friends and those we're not going to see at Christmas. And it was just bloody lovely to sit around a table.
That's the good thing, that is the good thing, right? Although it kind of hurts that you're missing them, it's a good thing that you're missing them. Because when you look at, on the other side of the coin, where families aren't getting together, loads of people are just thinking, "Oh, so what? So what? That's the problem.
There's the problem. Yeah.
If you are missing them, then that is good. That's good. That's a healthy thing. But people who are just like, no, so what? I don't care. But I will say, without going into it too deeply, I mean, like you know what I'm on about. Listen, your listeners will most probably know what I'm on about. But family relationships and bonds have been shattered beyond all record. Like the most severe it's ever been in the last 18 months or so, because of certain decisions people make, and like people being kind of alienated and people being kind of like cast out and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a real battle to kind of repair those family values. It's just, I don't think that most people are prepared to, because it takes a lot of work, takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy. People don't want that smoke, because people do just want stuff to happen kind of instantly in today's day and age. So many people won't be prepared to put that work in.
Yeah, it's a quick fix society, isn't it? And I think this is the for people. People always say, they want change, and what's my part? My part in it is me. It's that waking up to yourself and having a look around you and going, do I really like this as a way of moving forward? Do I like seeing, all the neglected kids? I mean, me and you both work in schools as part of our jobs, and the last 2 to 3 years has destroyed children. Literally, I went in and did a high school where I did all 5 year groups back to back with talks, and all I saw was soulless children, lost children that have no idea of who they are, where they want to go in life, and they have very little guidance. There's a lot of good people out there, but it even saw the teachers losing hope. And it was like, at some point, we've all got to stand there and go, is this where we want to be going? And actually, come out of that program, come out of that indoctrination, come out of, where we've been designed, and it's all by design, isn't it? To take us through, and actually just open your bloody eyes and have a look around and go, is this what we want? Because if we all get to the point where individually we decide this is not where we want to go, then we can make change. We can come back to community. We can make our decisions again. First of all, we all just have to realise what's happening and go, is this what we want?
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? There's a picture that depicts this, right? It's an amazing picture, right? I don't know whether you've ever seen it, but it's like underwater, right? And you've got this vicious shark, right? And then you've got this big like school of fish, but the fish are all together and they're in a shape of a bigger fish with a bigger mouth, and that's about to consume the shark. So it goes to show what power there is in numbers, that when people come together and people do make that decision and say, listen, is this what we want? No, it isn't. Well, I know that I can't change anything by myself, but if myself teams up with someone else, and then we team up with someone else, and you find people that are willing to do the same, and you all stand as a unit, then it's like, then you become the more powerful fish. And it's like, I say to people, listen, it's from what's happening now, certain labels are getting diluted. Great Britain isn't great at the moment. And certainly the United Kingdom is the most divided it's ever been. The united element of it, listen, gone. Listen, and I know people kind of come together for certain things. I wish people came together, right, for people or to fight against people that are coming to literally rip your heart out, rip your mind out, rip your life apart. I wish people would come together as much as that, as what they did or what they do to watch 11 men kick a football about. Do you understand what I'm saying? That there, like people would be absolutely enraged and full of passion to cheer their team on, or if they lose, or if they win. But then all of a sudden, listen, let's put people in suits that want to tear your life apart and make things difficult for you and your children and your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, literally like tear you apart. And they're all right, okay. Two different things. And I just wish people had that amount of passion for the things that truly matter. Because at the end of the day, I saw in 2020, now I'm a very passionate football supporter myself, but I saw in 2020 the importance of football. wasn't really important. There was only one Premiership footballer that was important in 2020, and it was a guy called Marcus Rashford, because he made sure that children got free school meals in schools, but he had to go up against them people in the suits that make the decisions, that wanted to take free school meals away from poverty-stricken kids. But he stood up to the plate, and he said that this ain't right. And then he got back in by people, and then they overturned their decision.
It just takes the one, Jamie, doesn't it? It takes the one good person.
The power of one. The power of one.
And then others will join. And I'd like to ask the listeners a question, just for them to mull over while we're going into the next sort of music break. But what makes you so scared to stand up for yourself? That's the question I want to leave floating around your heads, guys who listen to this. What makes you so scared to stand up for yourselves and create?
And I think this next song, if it is the one that I'm thinking about, you know, leading on from Tyson Fury and Allergy and that and the boxing, this one should get you fired up to stand up for yourself.
This is Bill Conti. Is that the one? Yeah. So
listen,
Django
speaks for itself. Speaks for itself.
Bit of Bill Conti gonna fly now, please, Django. And we always wonder if Django is there. And I really hope that
in the darkness,
he's playing this song
in the background.
And we haven't lost him. So if we just keep talking.
I'm muted. Alrighty, there we go.
He's in. We keep losing you. Oh, this is the Rocky song.
Yes.
Oh.
Bill Conti, one of the best film composers ever.
I didn't know it was called this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's it. At the end when it's gonna fly now.
Yeah. I didn't know it's called this.
Gonna fly now. So so I thought to myself, it's very apt, especially when you said, look, what makes you so scared about standing up for yourself? And I thought, right, okay, yeah, come on, get Rocky on.
It is, but it is, isn't it? It's that thing of, like, you know, for me, when I've considered this, because going through the things I've been doing this year with all the legislation, I've been through like an emotional bloody roller coaster.
Yeah.
I really have, you know, and I work in brain programming, so I'm probably one of the best placed people to do this sort of shit, because I thought I could control my emotional states, but some of it I've been in a mess with.
I can imagine when. Listen, you're only human. That's
the fear and anxiety, man, that comes in. Seriously, when you're doing things and then you'll get bloody letters, bits of paper coming through your door give you anxiety. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, oh God, how have we got to this point where? Well, I know how we've got to this point where we're so controlled.
But do you know what, though, Wen, right? Do you know, like, because we're in so many ways and for different reasons kind of in the same mold. Listen, we think the same. We've got a lot of, you know, so many of the same values. Listen, we're kind of on the same mission. We're on the same page. But because of all what we faced, but in different ways, kind of how resilient we are. Could you imagine, like, what it's like for the people that aren't like us, that aren't as resilient as us, that do have that mindset, that even though we get knocked back, I mean, we still come back from it. Do you know what I mean? Ordinary people like us, but people that aren't as resilient as us, that haven't got that strong mindset, that haven't got you know that will to keep on pushing forward. People like that, those same bits of paper and all that, it would be carnage for them. It's like the worst thing in the world, that piece of paper coming through their letterbox.
Sorry, how long, Django? 30 seconds.
30, yeah.
20 seconds.
20 seconds.
I see there's a red, there's yellow next to your name. Your signal seems to be a little low there.
Is that me or Jamie?
One sec, go live shortly.
Is that me or Jamie?
Wendy.
It should be okay. I've got everything turned off.
And you're live.
And welcome back to part 3 of Reality Bites this morning with my gorgeous guest Jamie Denyer. And we're going to get to the point where you guys are going to feel the power this morning. You really will, the power of you. We were just talking off air about resilience, and Jamie was saying to me, could I imagine how people feel who haven't been through the type of experiences that me and him have been through in life? So when they get things like the red letters come through the door, or, you know, any of these negative experiences in, could I imagine how it feels to be in that space where you don't know what to do and you have no one to turn to? And I actually could, and it's a terrifying place to be in. And I just wanted to say to everybody out there that, you know, all it takes from that point is building resilience. You have to at some point make a decision and know that you are a powerful creative being. There's no difference to me and Jamie and anybody listening. There's no difference to anybody on this plane of existence. The only difference is what you're running through your head and running through your heart. And when you reconnect back to that internal power of you, and you make that decision that, no, I'm going to get up again. No, I'm going to get up again. No, I'm going to get up again. You start building that resilience, and you can overcome anything.
Well said.
True.
Well said. And it is unbelievably true, Wen, because when I, you know, for those that don't know my background, I mean, the reason why I've done this is because my 19-year-old nephew was killed through a random act of violence, and that nearly took our family apart. Do you know what I mean? It took us to the brink in so many ways. And of course, then after that, kind of life had tests and trials and kind of challenges of its own. And then, you know, you get to the point where, you know, back in 2020 again was an unbelievable year for us all, but you know, that was the year that the youngest of my two older sisters took her own life during the big lockdown, right? So that then smashed me to pieces instantly, because I mean, I don't know what you know if people have ever had, you know, their mum on the end of the phone screaming in emotional pain because one of her children have taken their own life, and she now has to tell another one of their children about it. Do you know what I mean? It's not a good phone call to receive. It's not a nice thing to hear. But you know what? Although when my mum was telling me, it was a case of I was devastated, heartbroken, just done in that moment. Do you know what I did? Is I instantly remembered, and I thought back, and I thought, I've been through Connor. I've been through the process of my nephew. I've been through that news of getting that instant news where, do you know what I mean, on a life support machine, and it looks like they're not going to make it, and you've got to come down and say your final goodbyes to him. You've got to drive 4 hours to say your final goodbyes. Then you do have to say your goodbyes, because there is nothing more that they can do. And then you've got after that, an investigation with the detectives, and you have to go through their celebration of life to say your final goodbyes to them. You then have to go through a murder trial. You then have to go through this. So that was a whole process for me. And I remembered in that moment, I've been through that. I got through that. So I remembered to remember the stuff that I've been through in the past. And that's what people have to do, is they're so kind of focused on the opponent that's in front of them. They have to realize and remember the opponents that they've already slayed in the past, the opponents like the giants that they've already beaten in the past. And yeah, it can feel like that you are up against a giant. It does feel like that. And, you know, like the greatest kind of example that's given of like fighting the giants is like David and Goliath. Do you know what I mean? You've got like this very, very basic shepherd boy with very, very basic weaponry up against the fully trained like giant of a soldier, but he used just that kind of basic slingshot because he had belief in himself as well. That belief you were talking about, when, do you know what I mean? Just that basic slingshot, and he literally won the fight, and he become King David. So it's like your slingshot is who you are. The basic weaponry is going back to basics, the basics of you making that decision, of you knowing how powerful you are, knowing what you're capable of, knowing where you can get to, knowing that you can get over this, right? And you're not there kind of yet, but you will get there. So it's like, yeah, there are giants to be slayed, and there may be a giant in front of you right now, and it may be the biggest giant that's in front of you, right? But it doesn't mean to say that you haven't slayed giants before. So yeah, it was like the boot camp of what I've been through, that I remembered that process when, and it served me well. And now, you know, I'm not saying that I'm bulletproof or bomb-proof by any stretch of the imagination, because I can get scared for certain things. of stuff coming through my door as much as the next man. So let's get that right. But it's just, I then fall upon, you know, the resilience and the processes that I've been through before to get through this process that I'm going through, or that's being presented to me right here, right now. And you know, when I said yet, that word means so much, because at the end of the day, you know, you might not be where you want to be, you might not be who you want to be, and you might not be doing what you want to be doing yet. And that there is the key, because it's saying that you're not doing it right now, but it's possible in the future if you make some changes. And the yet, listen, the why of the yet stands for you. Listen, the person that looks back at you in the mirror, that there is the key. That's where a lot of the problems are coming from, but that's where a lot of the answers are as well. Listen, it all stands in, and it all comes back to you. It all, like the decisions that you make, like the actions that you put in, the change that you want to make, it all stands with you. You are more powerful, as you said, Wendy, like you're more powerful than what you can imagine. And that's what certain people want to do, is take away that power. So the why of yet is all to do with you. The E of yet is all to do with environments. In order, listen, start putting yourself in the right environments, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, mentally, physically. Start putting yourself in the right environments. Listen to the right podcasts, listen to the right people, read the right books, cull the people that don't bring any benefit to your life on social media, the people that just whinge and whine, moan and groan. Listen, start following the accounts that are really, really motivational, that are really positive and productive. Start following those. So when you do wake up, and if it is the first thing you reach for in the morning, which is your phone, and you go onto social media, that make sure that you're looking at stuff that sets you off on the right foot. So put yourself in the right environments. And the T of yet is you've got to do it with tenacity. Like, you can't do it like half in. Listen, you've got to understand the opponent in which you are up against. This is Tyson Fury. Listen, they ain't playing. They ain't playing. The government ain't playing. Listen, life ain't playing. Life is the only test that you can't cheat on. Like, that you can't kind of like ask for answers. Listen, you've got to do it with proper tenacity, with a lot of power. Go all in or not at all, or else it is going to consume you. You can't kind of just dip your toe in and just see what happens. You've got to make this change and do it with a lot of tenacity. So yeah, if you're not where you want to be, it's only because you're not there yet, but it will determine about what you do. The answer is totally and utterly with you yourself.
It's getting off, excuse me, it's getting out of that autopilot as well, Jamie, isn't it? And doing things on purpose. And this is the thing, most people will be just trundling through the same loops of life every single day, not even realizing that 95% of what they're doing today, they did yesterday anyway. 95% of the thoughts they think today, they thought yesterday. 95% of the feelings they feel today, they felt yesterday. Because they don't realize we've not been taught the fundamentals of our human system, which we are programmable. So all of that stuff, all of your past experiences, unless you decide to change the connection you have to them, will run on autopilot for you, because your body is built to love and support you. So all the past experiences, all the negative stuff, all the positive stuff that's in there, all those negative beliefs that you've developed about yourself, about not being good enough, not worthy enough, not lovable, whatever it is, all of these things, until we look at them and we come out of autopilot, will just keep running for you on a daily basis. You'll get the same old thing. You've just got to become aware of you on purpose. Listen to your thoughts and go, how are they helping me? They're not. So change them. It's not easy. It's not easy. It is a massive challenge. It's like going up Mount Everest with a big bag of rocks on your back. You know, it's going to be painful.
It'll be worth it.
You're not going to do it.
The view at the top, like the view at the top of Mount Everest, listen, the view at the top will be worth it. And you know, like you said about the 95% of what we do, we done yesterday, we done the day before, the day before that. And Einstein said, listen, the definition of insanity is doing things the same, but expecting different results. Yeah. That there in a nutshell should wake people up thinking, well, am I expecting different results and things different to happen to me? Yeah, because I deserve that. But then, like, oh, right, okay, but you're still doing all the same stuff. You do realize that up the rung of like the ladder to get to where it is you want to get to, every rung will require a different version of yourself. And so many people just don't want to put in that effort. The effort scares people like you would not believe. That there is like a swear word to so many people.
Yeah.
But you put in the effort and you get a reward. Put in an effort, you get a reward. And it's like, in some shape, way, or form, you will be rewarded psychologically, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, whatever, for that effort in which you put in. And it is all down to you investing in self. And self-investment is the only investment that will never, ever lose value. Like you put money into Bitcoin, crypto, stocks, whatever, it can go up, it can go down. That self-investment will never, ever, ever lose value. It will help you in some way, benefit you in some way, either immediately, a week down the road, a month, 6 months, it will benefit you. And when it becomes apparent and it's evident of when it benefits you, you say, oh, I'm so pleased I've done that. I'm so pleased.
Yeah, the power. We were talking about this actually while I was out in Ireland for 3 days with 2 business partners and an associate. And we were talking about the investment in self. And we were sitting down, and this isn't about money, but someone was trying to put it into context when you're then, giving information away and stuff. How much have you actually spent on yourself in personal development? And when we all worked it out, it was like, bloody hell, that's an awful lot of money we've spent on courses, webinars, seminars, books, all the books you've read, all the, podcasts you've purchased, and it was like, actually, is it worth it? And we all sat there and said, was that investment worth it for you? And it's like, yes.
Yes, it is.
200% was it worth it, because now I view things differently here, and now I have a different sense on the inside of drive to get stuff done, because I know it can be achieved. Or all of these little things that we've done, just all the books. I look at all the books I've got next to me here that I've read. Each single one of these has given me a nugget that's pushed me forwards again. That self,
and this is the thing, when right is like to do with books, right? What people will do, a lot of people will go out and they'll buy a book, they'll read it cover to cover, they turn the cover over and they wait for this change. And nothing happens. Within 2 weeks, they go and buy another book, and then exactly the same thing. And then they'll do another one and get another book, and they're not into self-development, they're into shelf development. Because what they want is all of a sudden, like, what they need to do is they need to like reinforce like their shelves to take the weight of the books in which they've bought that they've not learned anything from. So it's literally like, for anyone out there who has got books, that in so many different ways, like listen, if you haven't really taken in those books and learned from those books and invested yourself in them books, you could literally go back to every single book in which you've got and literally read through it again, read like a paragraph, read a sentence. That's all these people have to do, is read a sentence. And then all of a sudden, right, okay, work on that sentence for a week. Do what that sentence says just for a week and see how your life changes. And then so on and so forth. But people just want to motor through them and just say, oh, yeah, oh, I've read that book. Oh, yeah, because it sounds good. It sounds cool. And then you say, well, what did you learn from that book? Don't know. I don't know. I can't really tell you. But it was a good book. It was a good book.
Yeah.
But that's what people were into. Shelf development went.
Shelf development. I love that. I'm going to use that. And this is a shameless plug for my book now. The reason I wrote 50 Ways to Change was just that, because I'd read so many personal development books that give you loads of info.
That's not that book that's in the background there, Wendy, is it?
It might, Jamie, it might well be the one up on the shelf there. But it's one of those things that I read so many books and they're full of lovely information, but they didn't tell you how to use it. So that book, half of it's information and half of it's how to use it. Because I think some people need that. They go, right, what exercises can? So I just broke it down into exercises. Do this for 7 days. Do this for 7 days. And at least it gives people an opportunity to have a go, doesn't it? Next song.
Absolutely.
Oh, a change is going to come. Sam Cooke. Why do you like this one?
Well, again, like the first one, it's the same kind of message, to just hold on, keep going, keep pushing forward, because a change in some shape, way is going to come. But people need to know that a change isn't going to fall out of the air. You are the one that needs to make this change. And if you're prepared to make that change, then the change in so many different ways, shapes and forms is going to come. But again, it's just all down to you.
Indeed. Django, a change is going to come, please.
You're fair.
Lovely job, thank you. What are you doing this morning? Are you like doing other stuff?
No.
There just
No,
seems
I
to
don't
be-
know.
There seems to be a delay. It's like Django's busy while we're doing the radio show.
The music was playing, but maybe is it not coming through to you?
Oh no, we didn't hear the music, but normally I get a little hit of it, don't I, or something.
Little sound bite, the little intro, isn't it?
Ah,
Oh, there you go.
It's playing. Oh,
Yeah, it's playing. Oh, that's all
maybe
good.
it's
But
noise
I thought that
cancelling.
this morning, though, Django.
There we
do you know
go.
do you know when we were talking that there was a little bit of a delay between what we were saying?
Yeah, I see your signal goes yellow now and then as well. So maybe we just have general network
Yeah,
gremlins today.
bit of dodgy signal. That's all good.
It's like, yeah, I like see when people speak, sometimes it goes yellow, like at the bottom left next to one's name.
Oh, okay.
And then sometimes it goes back again. And so, yeah,
Yeah,
that's all good.
it should be firing. It's showing on my laptop that it's firing on all cylinders. So
Yeah, it's been better the last like 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
oh, that's good then. As I say, maybe we'll wander into the power of collective consciousness next day as well. We had an interesting,
You take us wherever you want to go.
yeah, had an interesting. You missed. I'm gutted that you missed John down on the retreat because we ended up.
Honestly, when I know that I kind of missed out on so much of like what was happening, but I was just grateful for what I did experience. But I know that there was a lot that was missed. But I saw you guys, from afar, having an incredible time. Incredible change was made to them people, and I was like gassed up for that. Do you know what I mean? Seeing them as well.
Yeah, well,
but I just wish I could have been a part of it.
Well, everyone thoroughly enjoyed your company and what you talked about. It's just amazing. So yeah, it was great.
Cool.
Yeah, and that all tied in as well because we went right into the quantum realm. I think the last couple of days, John actually ended up staying a bit longer than he was going to. And we ended up taking them right into like quantum creation, basically. So they all left with the understanding that everything is happening now. You just have to make a choice of which one of these dimensional timelines you jump on and ride. So it was a nice way to finish it, if you know what I mean. We did some really
incredible. And you're just
30 seconds.
Blowing my mind at 9:45 on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, it was good. We did some group healing as well, which was nice. We did a bit of quantum healing. That was interesting. So we're gonna we're gonna go down and see Sean March. If
Kindasound Radio.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
For a global community.
And you're live.
And welcome back to the final part of Kindasound Reality Bites this morning with my lovely guest Jamie. And we've been hoping to get you guys to that space where you realise it's not all about stuff and that you hold like massive potential on the inside of you. We've all been taught, and I'm going to say taught because we've had literally through our whole educational system, the stuffing kicked out of us. So we compare ourselves to other people. We're always putting ourselves down compared to other people, and we never really truly experience the power of us on the inside. And me and Jamie just want to leave you today with that knowledge that you are not what you currently are. You are an all-powerful creative being that has an electromagnetic field that can generate anything. We're connected to a consciousness, a cosmic consciousness of everybody. And if we want some change, you just need to tune into you first. And then when you tune into you and you start coming from that loving place of your heart and get back to loving you, guess what that does to the collective field? It sends it out to everybody as well. So Jamie, as final words for our lovely listeners and viewers this morning, what would you like to leave them with coming up to Christmas?
Well, the adage, what I brought up about, the Christmas presents, the gifts in which you give, absolutely like incredible. Listen, that's what's all about Christmas. I don't want anyone to feel bad about buying presents and gifts because I've done it myself. But just know that what's truly important is the presence of being together. Do you know what I mean? That presence there is a present. It is a gift, and it's what we've kind of been conditioned to go away from. Know the most important things at this particular time is stuff like time with the people that you love, because you don't know when that time is going to be over. There's the thing that eats away at you nothing eats away at you like regret. I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd done that. This is something that we literally do as like human beings. Listen, just naturally, it's like whenever someone passes, you wish that you had spent more time with them. You wish you had cuddled them more. You wish you had told them that you loved them more. You wish that you had spent more time with them. And we do, again, even though it's not our fault, we still think it's our fault, and we still put all that pressure on ourselves. So that goes to show that that's what we do in life, is we are our own worst enemy and our own biggest critic. And we have to, this time of year, listen, even if it is just for Christmas, like the most magical time of the year, literally start being your own biggest cheerleader. Right, I've told you about the quality of the opponent that you're up against, the size and the severity of the opponent. And if you are still in there, even if you are struggling to make ends meet up against this opponent, that is a phenomenal performance in which you are putting in. But it then goes to show that if you are capable of doing that with another little shift in thought, another little shift in mindset, or different choices made, or different decisions made, to go, how much more can you push? How much more can you change? How much more can you withstand? How much more reward can you get? So again, it just all comes down to you, because you are literally the most important person in your life. The analogy of like the plane going down, when an airplane goes down, the oxygen mask come down. It's a case of, they tell you no matter who you're with, you can be with your own children, that you would die for. But if you're with your own children, you put your own oxygen mask on first. And you have to know that you need to look after you in order to be the best benefit to the people in which you love, adore, and care about. So you are important. You are worth investing in. You are worth changing. You are worth making decisions for. You are doing an amazing job. You are literally more powerful than you could ever have imagined. But it's like a case of, you are putting in this incredible performance at the moment against this severe opponent. And if I literally leave you with this, right, people will have different answers for this, but there is only one real answer for this that I can't even begin to tell you. But if I was to ask people, like, what's your favorite Christmas film of all time, like, what would yours be, Wend?
Oh, blimey, you've put me right on the come back to me. I can't think of it.
Right, and like loads of people, they might say The Grinch, they may say Elf, The Polar Express, Miracle on 34th Street, Scrooge, and all that. Listen, there's only one, and it's got the most amazing message, most amazing Christmas message ever, and It's a Wonderful Life. So that there just goes to show, like, it will give you a gift. It shows a simple man that didn't think he was doing anything special with his life, that if he had never been born, if he was not alive, it would show how life would be different without him. And the life that was around him was absolute carnage and chaos. He was shown his importance. He was shown his worth. He was shown his value. George W. Bailey was shown his value and his worth. What a gift. And I know we can't do that, but know that that story is true. Know that signifies us, that if we weren't here, if we didn't do what it was we were doing, there would be a massive hole left and people would be suffering. That is how important you are. And that is like how much worth and value you have, and you are worthy enough to be invested in. That self-investment will never ever lose value. You're worth it.
Beautiful. I love that. And mine's Scrooge. It's just popped in my head. I love Scrooge. So that's probably my favourite film. Same
again, about someone who sees what's important, and kind of changes his ways.
So I love the really old school one though. So we're out of time this morning, Jay. I just want to thank you so much for dropping in and sharing some love and light before Christmas. It's been gorgeous.
Always a pleasure.
My friend, gorgeous. And we're just going to play out. Not going to ask you why, because we've got 2 minutes left. I just want to thank all the listeners. I want you all to have an amazing Christmas. And just do as Jamie said, it all comes down to you. Just connect back into that and be present. Be the present for everybody. That's it. Simple as that. Right. Love you all. Have a wonderful day. And let's play out Django, if you wouldn't mind, with Can't Be Touched by Roy Jones Jr. Thank you.
I'm Mike Chipos, man.
Cool, you're off air.
Thanks for that this morning. That was rather lovely.
I know we did. Yeah, we covered some good stuff. Good stuff off the cuff. You know, some things can kind of turn out the best when they're not planned or they're last minute, and you say, right, let's get this done. And yeah, it just seemed a very, very apt message today, because I was talking about it in one of my lives the other day, and I was literally, you know, I got some incredible messages back for people just saying, like, just thank you for that. Thank you. You know, it's kind of really given me hope, because this year, more than any other, has kind of, it's taken me into the trenches, and I just know people are suffering out there.
They are, and there is a lot they can do. I'm just going to stop the recording. Love to you all on YouTube, by the way.